Hey there, and welcome to our Tech Talk. Today we will be talking about our cross-platform application, nTouch.
Are you familiar with the following experience? You've made a mental note to keep in contact with the person, but somehow never remember to get around to actually doing it. Eventually, more time passes, and you end up never reaching out to the person. And the more time that passes, the more the person slips into the back of your mind, until quite possibly you never end up reaching out to them. There could be several reasons why. Maybe you forgot, and reaching out to the person is something you want to do, but is not at the top of your mind. Maybe life is so busy, and reaching out to this person just never makes it to the top of your priority list. Maybe the effort involved is something you're avoiding, so you continue to delay reaching out. Regardless of the reason, there is likely someone that you've wanted to reach out to or keep in touch with, and doing so has proven more difficult than planned. Sometimes what you need is that extra nudge.
Our solution is nTouch, a reminder app that notifies you to keep in touch with any given contact. Whether you are genuinely forgetting due to a busy schedule, or you just need that extra nudge to call or message someone, nTouch is there so that you always follow up on your intention to stay in touch with that person. By inputting the contact and scheduling a time for a notification, you are making the commitment to reach out to that contact, which is a big step farther than a simple mental note. It keeps the person at your top of mind awareness upon seeing the notification, and by making the commitment via something physical like an app, you feel more obligation to actually follow up on your intention to reach out. Hello, my name is Janina Alvarez, and I'm a recent UCLA grad. My contribution to the project included working on the styling of the contact list, implementing some of the functionality for the Create Contact form, and putting together the presentations. Gabriella had an issue that she needed to attend to and could not make it to this presentation, but she was an amazing and active teammate who contributed immensely to styling the contact form, the homepage, and other parts of the app, as well as experimenting with solutions for the notification feature.
Hi, my name is William Bogans. My contribution to the team was pretty much deciding which packages to use, frameworks, and the tech lead.
Let's go over the typical flow of the application. In this diagram are snippets of our code, some of which are slightly simplified for the sake of the presentation. Going over the typical flow of the application, we start on the home page with no contacts yet added. Thus, the homescreen.js file begins at the if statement, which displays the add a contact button. That button, when clicked, activates the onPress function, and the code within the onPress function body navigates the user to the create contact screen.js file. The create contact screen includes a form that the user can fill out. The form includes name, phone number, email, date, and time fields, which the user fills out in order to create a contact. Once finished, the user presses a Add to Contacts button, which calls the form submit function and resets the form. The form submit function on submit takes in the data for the contact and uses that data to add the contact to the app. It also dismisses the keyboard so that the user does not have to do that manually, and then it calls the notification setup. Finally, it navigates the user back to the home screen. Once back on the home screen, now that there is an existing contact, the code runs the else block, which renders the contact list. From here, users can also delete contacts from the contact list, and they can add more contacts using the tab navigation at the bottom of the screen. Will, you can go ahead and take it away here to talk a little bit more about the notifications.
For the push notification feature, we used a package called React Native Community Push Notification iOS. This allowed us to register a user's device with the Expo server so that they could receive a token. This token would allow users to schedule push notifications for their selected dates on when to reach out to a person and their contact list. To talk about some of the packages that we implemented within the application, I will start off with React Hook Form. It allowed us to share state between the forms, and it exposes in a data API, which allows us to grab the values that we want off of it from the input fields from the application. For example, the name field and the email field in the create contact screen. We hook up the API to the input fields, and React Form does the rest for us. As for the React Native Community Push Notification iOS package, this allowed us to send notifications to the user's phone on the selected date for when they want to contact somebody. As for our global state management, we decided to use the available context API over installing Redux. Since this is such a small application, there was no need to use Redux, and the context is just easy to look at overall. We had to install a React Native Community /date time picker package, which allowed users to select a date and a time to set the contact reminder. The Expo CLI versus the React Native CLI. The Expo CLI and the whole project is open source, and Expo allows for live reloading. And also, we don't need to know anything about native code in iOS or Android to work with Expo, as opposed to React Native, to where you can dig deep down and build your own native modules if you wish. You can also choose which version of the React Native CLI to use. And on top of just getting started with the Expo or React Native project, well, CLI I should say, there aren't too many resources out there of how to get started with a React Native CLI project, which is why we chose Expo.
Displayed here is a depiction of the basic project structure. The home/root directory contains our app.js file, our app.json file, and other build-related files, such as the package.json files, which holds all of the scripts and dependencies we use to create our app. It also contains our source directory, which contains the code for most of our application. Within source/components, we have the code for our app's 2 web pages, the home page and create contact screen page. And within source/context, we have the create context page, which is used to take in the data to create a new contact, and the source/utilities directory, which holds the register push notification.js file, which is used for registering push notifications. Throughout our project, we expanded our knowledge in many ways. First, we gained familiarity with Expo as a framework for React Native, which allowed us to streamline the creation and simulation of a cross-platform application, instead of having to code for each platform individually. In regards to React Native, this one mostly applies to Gabby and I, but we both came into this project never having coded with React Native or Expo, and even though the learning curve felt steep, the knowledge we've gained is invaluable, and we are so proud that we can add a React Native Expo application to our portfolio. I know I plan on using this framework in the future to create other cool apps too. We also grew more familiar with collaboration tools. This includes increased speed and literacy in Git and GitHub, which we used for our code. It also includes using the live share tool through Visual Studio Code, which allowed us all to code the same document in real time, similar to Google Docs. We also used Trello, a Kanban board, to manage what tasks needed to be completed and by who. While we are really proud of how far we've come in our application, there's still so much more to expand on. Here are a few ways we plan on continuing to work on nTouch. Currently, our app does run on multiple platforms, tested for the web and iOS apps. However, we focus more heavily on developing for iOS, so we're still facing some bugs on the web side and need to do further testing on the Android side. So we would love to expand the app so that it works flawlessly in all formats. Next, our app can currently only run locally through the Expo client. We would love to expand its capabilities so that it can be downloaded by anyone from the App Store or the internet, and possibly even have its own domain for web. We'd also like to increase the efficiency, usability, and readability of our code. This isn't to say that we aren't proud of our current code, but we know that the current product we have isn't quite App Store ready. There are certain features that aren't implemented flawlessly, and the code can be cleaned up and commented a bit more. There's still some functionality we need to add as well, so we plan on making the necessary improvements before it gets to the App Store. Lastly, we'd also like to add more options for setting the timing of the notifications. Currently, the user can specify a specific date and time to be notified. We'd like to expand this so that they can set up recurring notifications, for example, a notification once weekly. And lastly, we'd like to add the ability to store and edit contacts once they've been added. That concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time, and if you would like to ask any questions or reach out to any of us, here are our contacts. My name is Janina Alvarez. You can find me on most platforms at Miss Jantastic, and my email address is janinatalvarez@ucla.edu. Feel free to check out my personal portfolio at missjantastic.github.io. Gabriella has been nothing short of an amazing team member. Her GitHub is at @thegabbythemaster, and you can contact her at gabby99@gmail.com.
Hey, it's William again, and thank you for listening to our presentation. My contact information is listed on my card. On GitHub, you can find me at will0101, and my email address is listed as below, me@williambogans.dev. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about nTouch, and don't be afraid to get in touch with us.